Ever feel like you just don't see much of the new First Lady? Well, however little folks see of her, it apparently isn't hurting. CNN's Jeannie Most reports the First Lady's approval ratings are up, way up.
Hail to the chief! Hail to the chief's wife!
Melania!
She's doing better than the chief in the polls. Of course she's less visible. Though she hosted an International Women's Day luncheon, the White House wouldn't let the press stay for her speech.
Right this way, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Excellencies, esteemed representatives.
Melania Trump is now held in high esteem by 52% of those polled by CNN ORC. That's compared to only 36% before the inauguration. Tweeted one fan, she has given class, elegance, and a reverence for God back to this country. Grumbled a critic, easy to have a great approval rating when no one ever sees you or hears you speak.
Our Father, who art in heaven.
Though we've heard her pray and read Dr. Seuss to kids in a New York hospital.
Your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet.
We hear a lot about shoes full of Melania's feet. As a former model, she's under a fashion microscope. Oh no, she didn't. Melania Trump wears one dress 2 days in a row. Even her body language with her husband is microanalyzed, leading to calls to free Melania. Blink twice if you want us to save you.
You know who I always look at for like the truth? Not Melania, but I look at her eyes. Look at her eyes. And you can see in her eyes, she's like, you guys don't know what he's capable of.
Comedians take their shots, so do cartoonists. I will now be the First Lady instead of the third wife. But her approval still jumped 16 points. Turns out men favor her more than women, 58 to 46%. Tweeted one guy, this just in, old white Republican dudes approve of ex-model wives, but Melania's climbing in the polls her way. Jeannie Most, CNN, New York.
And we want to give you an opportunity to really get to know the First Lady. Up next, we have a CNN special report, Melania Trump, the making of a First Lady. I'm Ana Cabrera in New York. I'm so grateful to have had your company tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Eastern for 4 more hours live here in the CNN newsroom. Have a great night.
The following is a CNN special report.
Her journey to the White House spanned 2 continents.
I'm from Slovenia and I grew up there as a teenager.
Melania Trump, Slovenian model turned wife of a bombastic billionaire, suddenly in the spotlight herself.
I will fight till the end because I don't want that they damage my reputation and my name.
Answering questions about her husband's past.
He's an adult. Right. He knows the consequences.
And making promises about the future.
I will be different than any other First Ladies. I will help women. I will help children.
Tonight, a revealing look at First Lady Melania Trump. She's more than the so-called First Lady of fashion. She's a devoted mother who speaks 6 languages. And after watching her husband surge to a stunning victory, is now on her way to becoming a global icon. I'm Randy Kay, and this is a CNN special report. Melania Trump, the making of a First Lady. The future First Lady always turned heads. Even when she was young, growing up in her home country of Slovenia.
What is your maiden name? It's not Trump, obviously. What is it?
Knaus.
Knaus?
Yes.
K-N-A-U-S-S?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, from Slovenia.
From Slovenia.
She was born Melania Knaus on April 26, 1970. That was long before Slovenia split from communist Yugoslavia, so she grew up under communist rule.
Her father was apparently a member of the Communist Party, which was a very unusual thing. He sold cars, he built the family a nice home outside of the central city. Her mother was a pattern designer in a textile factory. She worked hard, as was common for women in Eastern Bloc countries.
My sister Ines, who is an incredible woman and a friend, and I were raised by my wonderful parents. My elegant and hard-working mother, Amalia, introduced me to fashion and beauty. My father, Victor, installed in me a passion for business and travel. Their integrity, compassion, and intelligence reflects to this day on me and for my love of family and America.
Friends in her hometown remember Melania Knaus as sophisticated. She didn't drink or stay up late, nor did she like being the center of attention.
One of her classmates recalled how she would get catcalled and boys would sort of make nasty, surly remarks at her. Her friend would notice that Melania would sort of pull up inside of herself and look ahead as if she didn't hear it.
She immersed herself in her studies of design and architecture, and she dreamed big.
She also decided early on that Slovenia was too small for her, that she was determined to get out into the larger world, the bigger world.
She was obviously a very pretty girl and was told that from the beginning, and therefore that kind of made modeling and fashion and style and all the rest of it an obvious outlet.
Melania Knaus put college on hold by the time she was 20 to pursue modeling jobs in Milan and Paris. She got commercial work too, playing, of all things, what appears to be the first female president of the United States in this 1993 ad. Paolo Zampoli saw her in Milan and was so impressed, he suggested she move to New York City to model for his agency.
She had a great portfolio, and I told her, Melania, would you like to try the American market?
And she said,
well, yes, she was very interested, and a few months later, she came to the States.
At the time, she was 24, able to speak 6 languages, including Italian, French, and German, but immediately felt like New York was home.
Just the energy of New York, the opportunities, different world, different culture, it really attracted me.
How would you describe her style and her beauty?
She has a very strong sense of style, and this has been her life since she was a child. Fashion and fashion magazines and modeling. She has a sure sense of style, and she has a beautiful body.
Then, in September 1998, at 28, 2 years after the future First Lady arrived in New York City, came a chance meeting that would change her life forever.
We met at the fashion party. It was a big fashion party that my friend organized, Fashion Week, and he invited me. That's how we met with Donald.
Donald, as in Donald J. Trump. She met her future husband and the man who would become the nation's 45th president at a party at Manhattan's famous Kit Kat Club.
I was actually supposed to meet somebody else, and there was this great supermodel sitting next to Melania, and I was supposed to meet this supermodel, and they were saying, look, there's so-and-so. I said, forget about her. Who's the one on the left? And it was Melania.
Paolo Zampoli hosted the party and introduced them.
Very simple. I say, Melania, please meet my friend Donald. Donald, please meet Melania.
She told People magazine she thought the billionaire businessman had, quote, sparkle.
How did they react when they first met each other?
I saw that there was some kind of chemistry, sometimes magic, as I'm still calling magic.
He asked me for the number, and I said, I will not give you my number. So if you give me your numbers, I will call you. And he was known as kind of a ladies' man.
Melania Knaus waited a week to call Donald Trump, later telling GQ magazine, I was not starstruck, and maybe he noticed that.
We went on the date and we had a great time. We went to Mumbai It was a place in New York, downtown.
At the time they met, Donald Trump was 52, Melania Knaus just 28. But even with more than 2 decades between them, the romance grew until 2000. That year, Donald Trump considered running for president on the Reform Party ticket, and the couple broke up briefly.
I don't want to change him. I don't want, to say, come home and, be with me. I don't want to change him. I want to give him a space, and I think that's very important in the relationship.
Coming up, how the couple got back together. And the Slovenian model becomes a Manhattan mom.
Baron and I, we will give each other a lot of kisses, a lot of hugs, a lot of love, and I think that's the most important for me and for him also.